Hello, Internet. How are we this evening? Saturday stream time. Happy weekend. Hope everybody's having a good one. I am tuckered out and my neck hurts. I fell down today, you guys. I fell on the trails. I actually fell twice. Well, first time I didn't fall completely, or the second time I didn't fall completely. I tripped, and it was in front of two hot girls. It wasn't great. It wasn't great at all, you guys. The first time I fell, put my hand down, and because I'm old, it hurt my neck. Why did I hurt my neck? It had nothing to do with my neck. I tripped, fell, put my hands down, and my neck hurt after. I don't know why. This is what happens when you start getting old and then you fall down in front of hot girls. It happens. Whatever. All right. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I guess Scarlett doesn't care tonight. Sometimes she doesn't care. Oh, maybe she does. No, she cares about whatever's outside right now. We got plenty of stuff to get into. More Ukraine funding, more money for everybody but Americans. Got money for Israel, even got money for Taiwan. Got money for Ukraine flags. They're waving around the little Ukraine flags in the house today. That was great. Got some Tucker and Joe Rogan clips I want to play. I was quite excited about that podcast. That was a great podcast. Wally World. All right, since you're here, I gotta make Scarlett say hi. Scarlett, come say hi. Come say hi to Wally. Okay. All right. There she is, Wally. She's been being a bad dog today. She's been just borking at whatever, at nothing. She starts borking and won't stop. Okay, go lay down. All right, people. Yeah, we got some Israel stuff to talk about. Actually, that's going to be the primary thing I want to talk about tonight. It's this whole sort of wag the dog scenario that seems to be going on. And there's a Seymour Hersh article that I've been wanting to read. I wanted to read it last episode, didn't have time. We're going to read the whole thing tonight. And I think it might hit the nail on the head. It might explain why nobody can figure out what actually happened the other day when Israel said, yeah, we bombed the crap out of Iran. And then Iran's like, no, they didn't. It's just been a bunch of back and forth and nobody can tell what's going on. So we'll get into that stuff. And yeah, a whole bunch of other shenanigans. So hope everybody's having a good evening. If you're here, go ahead and hit that like button. That's always helpful. Repost if you can. In fact, let me try something over here on Twitter. On X. Let's see. What are we doing here? Oh. All right. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. I want to try and actually see if I'm live over on X and then repost the stream. I don't think it shows up when I don't refresh my page. All right, there it is. Okay. Yes, we are indeed live. All righty, folks. Let's get into some things. If you're here, go ahead and jump in the chat. You know how I like to hear from you. Makes me feel better about my self-esteem. And we will jump right into stuff. I'm going to read an article from Seymour Hersh. I'm actually not even going to share it on the screen because it's in my email. I don't want you guys seeing. I want you guys to see all of my emails from just random people. All right. So yeah, I won't share this. This is from a Substack. I actually subscribe to Seymour Hersh. If you don't, I'm sure most of you guys know who Seymour Hersh is. If you don't, he's probably the most prominent journalist of the last few decades. I mean, he's the one that broke the, I feel like I got to sneeze, you guys. Oh, I did. Yep. I had to sneeze. Oh, and that hurt my neck. See, this is what happens when you get old, you guys. You freaking sneeze and throw your back out and stuff like that. Now my ears popped. Okay. Well, Seymour Hersh, he's the one that broke the My Lai massacre story. The first video I ever did, I'm not sure if it was live. I think it was live. The first video I ever did was Seymour Hersh's article on the Nord Stream pipeline, which I read. And it's pretty funny when I go back and look at that video. It was my first one I ever did. Yeah, he's usually pretty spot on. He's been doing this so long that he's got serious sources inside the intelligence agencies that feed him information. I apologize, guys. A little is it allergy season? I'm not sure. I'm a little stuffy, I'm a little old. Yeah, so Seymour Hersh had a very interesting article today. It's only available for his subscribers, so I thought I'd read it to you guys. It's not too long, but it's probably like a 4 or 5 minute read. But it could explain why Israel's saying they attacked Iran, and it doesn't appear that it was as serious as Israel's claiming. It's hard to figure out what's going on, but this article could explain why Israel didn't go full kamikaze, because we kind of thought that they were going to after Iran responded, and this article kind of puts everything into perspective. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. Let me check the chat really quick. All right, I think we're good. Thanks, Wally. I appreciate it. Hurt my neck. It hurt my neck when I sneezed. I fell earlier and hurt my neck, and had nothing to do with my neck, and then I sneeze and it hurts my neck. What is wrong with me? All right, let's get right into this. So this is titled "A Military Solution to a Political Problem: How the Pentagon Engineered a Fake War to Prevent a Real One." And this is from April 17th. So he starts off with, "I spent much of my career reporting on the American military's misdeeds and worse, especially during the Vietnam War. But it's time to applaud the brilliance of the Pentagon planning staff and the operational officers who did what America assured Iran's religious and military leadership it could do: allow Iran to respond to yet another Israeli assassination by flinging more than 300 drones and missiles towards Israel targets that as many as possible would be shot down out of the sky before hitting ground. It was a huge gamble and it paid off." So he's saying that we were kind of like, yeah, go for it. Go ahead. It's fine. And we were so confident in our ability to shoot them all down. They just said, yeah, go ahead, Iran. It's fine. We won't respond to you if you guys do it. And he's actually saying the Pentagon did a good thing here. So the Pentagon was essentially resisting, a word I choose to use, the foreign policy of the Biden White House and NATO by secretly approaching one of Iran's closest allies, Russia, and persuading a senior general there to reassure the Ayatollah Khamenei, Iran's 84-year-old supreme leader, that America had the know-how to make the strategy succeed. So we relayed it, the Pentagon, kind of behind Biden's back, contacted Russia because, they're homies with Iran, and was like, hey, you guys tell Iran that they can go ahead and launch their rockets and drones and stuff at Israel. It's fine. We won't respond. And they are saying that because they were so confident that they could shoot them all down. All right. Imagine it. Two of Biden administration's most entrenched enemies, Russia and Iran, trusting and working with the Pentagon and its leadership to prevent a deadly retaliation for yet another Israeli assassination of an Iranian general and 6 other Iranians in Damascus. So he's talking about when Israel struck the consulate in Damascus. I'm not allowed to name the American senior military officers and advisors who made the unusual faux missile attack happen, but it's important to say that President Joe Biden, whose foreign policy team was not involved in the process, accepted the high-risk plan and publicly urged Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, whose political career and personal freedom depend on keeping the war in Gaza going, and the rest of the Israeli leadership not to respond to Iran. That they might launch a counterattack remains a possibility, of course, according to the press reports in Israel. So the Pentagon comes up with this plan, and after they come up with the plan and basically already said, Russia, assure Iran that we won't come back at you, they told the Biden administration, like, look, guys, this is what we're doing, and you guys need to chill Netanyahu out. If if we're not gonna let any missiles, we're not gonna let any drones actually hit Israel, but they're all gonna fly in that direction. It's gonna look gnarly. It's gonna be a big giant dog and pony show, but nothing's gonna happen. So you need to tell Netanyahu he cannot respond because it's a big nothing burger. You need to chill that motherfucker out. That's what he's saying here, and it's like our Pentagon told the Biden administration, like, this is what we're doing. You guys need to fall in line here, essentially, because Biden's a shell of a man. Okay, continue. The Pentagon planning staffs were asked to come up with a military solution to a political problem. One involved officer told me, otherwise the Ayatollah would attack and Bibi would do his thing in response. So we also told Iran, to respond in a very specific way, because Iran can't just Israel attacked the consulate. That's technically Iranian soil. They killed one of their high-level officers, 6 other Iranians. They can't just let that go. But Iran doesn't want full-scale war with Israel either. They know if it's full-scale war with Israel, because they're our greatest ally, we'll have to come into the fray as well. But they have to respond or they look insanely weak. So they're caught in this real rock and a hard place. And we basically told them, like, look, do a big giant dog and pony show and it'll be fine. We'll shoot all the rockets out of the sky. It won't be a thing. And Bibi won't respond. So don't worry about it. That's essentially the plan that they worked out. And they did it through the back channels with Russia. We had to get involved. Okay, so I'll just read this paragraph again. The Pentagon planning staffs were asked to come up with a military solution for a political problem. One involved official told me. Otherwise, the Ayatollah would attack Bibi, and Bibi would do his thing in response. We had to get involved now and not later. And so we thought about where we are and where we wanted to be. And we got to be involved now, not later. That meant we had to control the Iranian response. So they had to make sure they knew what they're going to do and shoot all the rockets out of the sky. The obvious fear was that Netanyahu's response to a successful drone and missile attack would be, as in Gaza, overwhelming. A major Israeli escalation that could lead to an unwarranted war in the Middle East. So, just Israel going full scale, bombing the shit out of cities all throughout Iran. And then if that happens, Iran's going to respond back. Then we're in the war too. And it's World War III, because Russia's going to have Iran's back. It would have been a nightmare. So they kept the back channels open. And it's just this whole thing. It just shows how all of this stuff is games. All of this. The senior planning staffs throughout the Pentagon had direct contacts with their peers throughout Europe. And there was immediate consultation with the Air Force leaders in Europe that circumvented dealing with the political leadership there. And we know that we knew the Iranians the best. The officials asked the official asked rhetorically. The Russians and the Brits, Iran's strongest ties to Europe, are in fact with Britain and Russia, whose military leaders shared the concern about the extreme danger of the Iranian response to Israel. There was an informed chat between Americans and the ranking general in Russia, who was asked what he thought about Iran. I'm sorry. There was an informed chat between Americans and ranking general in Russia, who was asked what he thought Iran wanted. The answer was very Russian, so I was told. They just want revenge and to prove that their dicks are just as big as anybody else's. There was a similar and more conventional chat with senior British officer. So Iran's just saying, like, look, we don't want war, but we got to pull our dicks out and say, look, we can fight too. We're not weak. We can't not respond. We have to do something. Out of these conversations evolved the ingenious plan. Why not get the air forces of our allies in Europe and the Middle East to agree to work together under the American leadership, and with Iran's approval, take advantage of the rapid progress in anti-military and anti-drone defenses to let the Ayatollah fire off this missiles and have his revenge, while understanding that the air forces in America, Europe, and the Middle East would track and destroy them all. So the Ayatollah, yeah, go ahead and fire your rockets. And they knew that we were going to shoot them all down. They knew that they're not actually going to hit Israeli targets. During the secret planning, the official said America's allies were told, we are going to share all of the information about the fired Iranian drones and missiles we collect. There was a tough session with senior Israeli official who was informed. The American official said Israel said that Israel had two options. One, win easy and let the American coalition destroy the missiles, or two, lose the hard way and respond with violence to the failed attack. If you choose the hard way, Israel was told, you are on your own. So the Pentagon was telling Israel, and this is highly, highly encouraging, guys, because I'm calling this, the puppeteers. Israel's being the puppeteers of us, and it looks like, I don't know if these are rogue people within the Pentagon, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like the Pentagon was finally telling Israel, like, look, you guys need to chill out. And if you don't, that's it. We're cutting off funding, whatever. You're fighting Iran on your own. We're not going to back you. If you respond to Iran, because we're shooting down all these missiles, we're shooting down all these drones, nothing's going to happen to you guys. It's a big dog and pony show. So if you guys take this big dog and pony show and say, look, they tried to attack us, and you actually go hard against Iran, you're on your own, guys. We're not backing you. So that's what the Pentagon told Israel, it appears. This is according to Seymour Hersh and his sources. Throughout the process, Pentagon leaders were assuming that their plan, without formally consulting President Biden or anyone in the White House only knew that the Iranians wanted to respond in kind to the Israelis, the official said. At that early point in the military planning, he added, the White House had no need to know more. So they're doing this all behind Biden's back. Man. That's both good and bad. It shows how much control Biden actually has, which is none, and they aren't really running shit. It was believed that there would be a formal approval for such a radical strategy, although Biden, to his credit, when later told that the Ayatollah had agreed to mute his revenge, publicly joined in urging the Israelis not to respond to the failed Iranian missile attack. So the Biden administration did tell Israel to back down. The drones and missiles fired by Iran were easy targets. An American fleet of the Navy planes were augmented by fighters from Jordan, Britain, France, Saudi Arabia, and Israel, whose access to nearby air bases enabled them to get refueled and stay on the defense in the air for hours. The Iranian leadership conveniently fired off its missiles and drones over a 9-hour period. Adding to the success of the missiles and drone hunters, the long interval gave some of the fighters a chance to refuel. Two American AWACs, specially equipped E-3 Sentry planes that had the most advanced warning and tracking systems, were on station to help guide the missile hunting aircraft to their targets. The U.S. Navy utilized its own versions of the AWACs, E-2 Hawkeyes. The American-led operation was a total success, with only a few weapons penetrating Israel's borders. The only known casualty was a 7-year-old Bedouin girl. She was struck and severely injured by the shrapnel that fell through the roof of their home in the Negev desert near Israel's important Nevatim Air Base, where advanced aircraft are stationed that are capable of delivering nuclear weapons. It is 30 kilometers northwest of Dimona, the Israeli nuclear reactor that has been churning out nuclear bombs for more than 5 decades. Jeez, Israel has nukes for 50 years? Damn. I was told by a knowledgeable Israeli that the officials at the airfield were explicitly advised, presumably by Iran, that the missiles that fell near the airfield were not meant for the reactor at Dimona. The Israeli military official released photographs of the damage to the ground at the airbase. The operation had a zero scenario, the American official told me, in terms of ensuring that Iranian ballistic missiles did not escape the international armada and strike a major city in Israel. But he added, the guys who fly have a lot of faith and believe they can do anything with these AWACs. There was no margin for error. It was gutsy. So that's the write-up, that this whole thing was a wag the dog scenario. This whole thing was just let it happen. We'll shoot it down, and you guys can't respond. And this sort of makes sense. I mean, this is all just according to Seymour Hersh. This is all just according to his sources, but it makes sense. It makes even more sense when we go and we look at, we all thought, it wasn't last night, was it? Was it last night or the night before? I can't remember, when everybody was saying that Israel is attacking Iran. Everybody thought Israel was attacking Iran, and then Iran responded and were like, no, you guys were fine. Like, nothing's happening. And it sort of looks like Israel did their own, like, dog and pony show. They fired a bunch of drones that they knew were going to be shot down, and they did their own sort of lesser version of what Iran did. They're just like, we need to do a show of force too, and show that we're not just letting this happen. And I mean, it might have been the exact same scenario, that Israel is just like, look, we need to appease all the warmongers in Israel and at least show that we're doing something to respond. So the whole point of this entire article is to say that, you guys, World War III might not have started. We might be, I mean, we're not out of the weeds, where there's obviously still a war going on in Gaza. Iran and Israel are still not friends, but it looks like Israel did still attack. I feel like Netanyahu, this is all just kind of like in Netanyahu's face, because they were trying to egg Iran into a full-scale war by attacking their consulate in Damascus. And everybody, this kind of seems like doing stuff behind Netanyahu's back too. Like, look, this dude's crazy. This guy's a freaking warmonger. We don't want war with Iran either. Iran could fuck up Israel too. I mean, this would not be good, especially if America says, you guys are on your own. You guys are crazy what you're trying to do. You guys struck their consulate and you're expecting them not to do anything back. And if it goes full-scale war because you guys just fucked around, you guys expect us to get your back and enter World War III, and then Russia's going to join? I don't think so. You guys are being maniacs. So it seems like some Israelis were also like, yeah, Bibi's out of control. We need to de-escalate this somehow without making it look like we're being little bitches. So that could be what we saw a couple of nights ago. Just Israel's response to, it was Israel's wag the dog response to Iran's wag the dog response. They both weren't real attacks. That's what I'm speculating anyway. Like putting everything that happened the last couple of nights into perspective with Seymour Hersh's article, this sort of makes sense. And they may have avoided of the Pentagon working with Russia. It goes to show, like, these guys are, it's like Russia isn't really our enemy. They shouldn't be our enemy. And there's still people in the Pentagon that have back channels open with Russia that are trying to avoid full-scale war. It's almost like maybe there are some good guys within the intelligence agencies. I don't know at this point. I don't know if there's any salvaging it. We'll get into that a little bit more later tonight. I mean, we're going to talk about Tucker and Joe Rogan and how our intelligence agencies are completely out of control. But in this regard, it looks like the Pentagon might have actually done a good thing, guys. So that's the way I'm reading this anyway. Yeah. All right. That's what I'm seeing. Well, thank you. It's CaliBased swag. Got a CaliBased hat too. I wore it on my run today. I like it. Hopefully I'll have stuff available pretty soon. All right. That is a Seymour Hersh article, and that is sort of my 2 cents on it. And I would love to hear what you guys think. I mean, Does this make sense to you guys? Does that sound like a feasible thing that they did? That sounds legit to me. So you guys are quiet over on Rumble. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, I want some feedback on this. I want to kind of bounce this around, but that seems like what happened. It was a big giant wag the dog and pony show. So yeah. What up, Danger? Man, I can't go back, man. I just read the whole article, and geez, you might even want to that sucks, because I want your perspective on this. It was a whole wag the dog scenario, it seems, and we might be safe for now. All right. Anyway, let's so let's go over to the confusion of the other night with, did Israel attack Iran or not? Because they're both saying different things. So let's go over to Mario Narwhals here. Let's see. Mario. All right. Let's get in the right screen here. All right. Let's go to Mario Narwhals here. And he says, all right. So this is he's just running around the scenario of what everybody was saying here. He says, U.S. Israel destroyed a nuclear plant. Iran, what are you talking about? UN atomic watchdog. All Iranian nuclear plants are okay. Senior American official. 3 missiles were fired from Israel warplanes outside of Iran. Iran targeted an air defense radar site near Isfahan. I don't know if I'm saying that right, which is part of the defense and the Natanz nuclear family. The initial assessment is that the attack destroyed the site, but it is not final. Source ABC 13, Reuters, Jerusalem Post. So from the jump, nobody knew what was going on here. And they got me. I was first like, Israel's doing it. They're attacking Iran. World War III has started. I was just like, oh, God, everybody get in your basement. Not really, but just, thinking, this is really popping off here. And there was footage coming out, but it all seems like it was propaganda. So go over to QUDS News Network, and they're saying, breaking, Al Jazeera citing a source in the Popular Mobilization Forces, PMF, strikes hit a PMF site in Babylon to the south of Iraqi capital city. So that's the thing too. They're saying that they're striking Iraq as well. And this does appear to be real footage, but you remember when Trump lit up that Syrian airport? It was just a runway. All we did is just launch a bunch of missiles into a runway, and we basically destroyed a bunch of asphalt. That could be what this is here. All right. Let's go over to Armchair Warlord, and he says, the Iranians are now reporting they shot down a few drones near Isfahan and possibly Tabriz, which seems to have been the sum total of any Israeli operation today. Reports of strikes elsewhere appear to have been false, let alone reports of a huge Israeli airstrike. This kind of false alarm can be very useful in elevating the information environment regardless. Evaluating the information environment regardless. Who reported rumors with poor or no corroboration? Who made confident statements about what is going on that they had no basis for? Who tried to run ahead of the narrative and ended up getting run over by the facts? Looking at you, U.S. officials, who seem extremely eager to spread absolute nonsense, and credentialed journalists who ran with it for no reason. So, I mean, I'm not a journalist, but I'm kind of guilty of like, oh God, Israel's attacking Iran. They're doing it. But Israel also said after the Iranian response where all their rockets and drones got shot down, Israel said, we're going to respond within 48 hours. And they said that, I believe, last Saturday night. So that would have been Tuesday. And then Wednesday rolls around, Thursday rolls around, and then we hear that, Israel's actually doing it. And so I thought they were. And what's dumb is I shouldn't have, because I had already read Seymour Hersh's article, and looking at it through that lens, it makes sense that this was Israel's own thing that they did. We told Russia, yeah, go ahead, tell the Ayatollah, launches rockets, launches drones. It's fine. They won't hit Israel. We'll shoot them all down. But we know the Ayatollah needs to respond to show how big his dick is. And he can do that. He'll just put on a big giant show and everybody will ooh and ah, and then we'll shoot them all down and nobody will get hurt. And then Israel's like, or Netanyahu's like, they attacked us. We got to level Iran. And then people, in the Israeli military was like, yeah, let's just kind of appease crazy ass Netanyahu. And we're going to launch some rockets into, the dirt and make it look like we're trying to attack Iran too, but we'll know that they'll get shot down. It's the same kind of thing, just on a smaller scale. And my dumbass thought, nope, Israel's actually attacking them. So a bunch of people were going crazy. Jackson Hinkle did a big old stream on it, but he was actually, and so everybody that knows Jackson Hinkle knows that he is not a fan of Israel, but he wasn't, his stream that he did was, he wasn't off the wall. He was talking about, yeah, we kind of don't really know what's going on here. But so he says, Iran mocks enemy. There's been no airstrike in Isfahan or other parts of the country. They only made a failed and humiliating attempt to fly quadcopters, and they were all shot down. Well, it's funny that the Ayatollah would say that because, well, isn't that what just happened to you guys? You guys fired a bunch of rockets and drones and not any of them hit their targets, but you were in on the plan. You knew that was going to happen. So it's a bunch of shit talking back and forth. All right. So that seems to be this whole thing. Iran's response to the attack on Damascus was a big giant dog and pony show just to make it look like, hey, we got big dicks too. We're not weak. That's all it was. And then Israel's response to that was basically the same thing, just on a smaller scale. Big giant nothing burger. Nothing happened. We're not in World War III yet. Now Israel, it does appear to be going hard on Rafah. So yeah, the war in Gaza is still on for sure. There's still atrocities happening over there, but we do not appear to be at war with Iran. And that could have been part of why Bibi wanted to bring Iran into a full-scale war with Israel as well, because it would have taken a lot of attention off of what's happening in Gaza, off the straight war crimes that they're committing in Gaza. So it looks like that plot got kind of foiled, and now, well, all eyes back on Gaza. So the whole thing's very interesting. It's like all these war games that they're playing behind the scenes, and we're just trying to figure out what's going on with what we can just with what little information that we're fed after the fact. So the whole thing's super interesting. All right, let's see what this is sort of just, I'm gonna play an 8-minute video from Patrick Bet-David, because this is I really like what he has to say here, because this is, as an American, I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestine either. I want nothing to do with all y'all. Like, I don't want any of my tax dollars going to any of these foreign wars. I want Israel to stop committing war crimes in Gaza, but, I want Saudi Arabia to stop committing war crimes in Yemen. I want war crimes to stop being committed all over the world, but we are not the world police. Let countries in that region handle it. We can speak out. We can do our protests. Stop blocking bridges, you freaking retards. But, that's all the stuff that we can do. We shouldn't be going and using American force to try and join or stop any of these wars, retaliations, escalations, any of that. Just, all right, you guys want to fight like retards? Go fight like retards. Just keep it over there. Like, we want nothing to do with it. Now, Congress under, especially all the people that got tons of APAC funding, they are more than happy to fund war wherever it is, whether it's in Ukraine, whether it's in Gaza. They're more than happy to do all of that. But I want to play this video from Patrick Bet-David, who is Iranian. Patrick Bet-David is American, but he came here from Iran when he was a kid. And I love Patrick Bet-David's perspective. The more I listen to this guy, the more I like him a lot, especially with the podcast he just did on, he was just on impact theory. And that was a great 3-hour conversation. That conversation was fantastic. I highly recommend you guys go listen to that one. Patrick Bet-David on impact theory. But I like this dude. He's very balanced, and he really tries to step back and look at the whole picture. He doesn't jump on any team immediately and just start shooting off rhetoric. So we're going to play this whole 8-minute video here, and I'll pause it frequently and talk about it.
If you're part of the easily triggered community, do not watch this video. It's going to piss you off. If you're part of the community that can reason in a logical, non-emotional, name-calling way, I want to have a debate with you. Tear apart my argument at whatever level you want, whether you're pro-Iran, pro-Israel,
Danger. The Pentagon doesn't think the answer to anyone either. Yeah, that's very obvious from the article I just read too. I highly recommend go back and listen to me read that article, because it's on Seymour Hersh's Substack, but it's a subscriber only. But all the stuff they did with telling Russia to talk to Iran, tell the Ayatollah, go ahead and fire your missiles, they did that all behind Biden's back. So it's like it's a good thing and a bad thing. So yeah, the Pentagon, the CIA, the NSA, the DOD, they're going to do whatever they freaking feel like doing. And in this particular instance, this one instance, it actually seems like they did a good thing. So
Palestine, pro-Ukraine, whatever you may be. One thing you need to know about me, just 2 weeks ago, everybody was saying I'm pro-Iran. I'm not about America, because I called out Daily Wire and, oh my God, Ben Shapiro this, Patrick, all he cares about is Iran. And then yesterday, after my Piers Morgan interview, no, Pat's a Zionist. He's a pro-Israel guy. Make up your mind. Which one am I to you? Seems like I'm pissing both of you guys off, but here's where I stand. I'm about America first. I'm going to make my argument to you today, once and for all. I've been very consistent about my position. You tell me whatever you want to say. But let me start off by telling you this. My position is based on what these two eyes have seen when I lived in Iran for 11 years, 10 and a half years. And we escaped and came to Germany. Then we came to the States. I saw with these eyes a lot of hate in Iran. Margat America, death upon America, non-stop. So, having said that, for those of you that are defending Iran and you hate Israel, and Israel's the problem and America's the problem, no problem. Iran's had control of their country for a long time, since 1979.
Makes a very good point here. You guys are awful quiet over there on Rumble. Come say hi.
Why is it that their misery index is 61 right now? Why is it their misery index has doubled in the last 6 years? That's inflation, unemployment. Why is it that their corruption index in the world is 149 out of 180? While the world average score is 43. The Middle East countries average is 34. The North Africa average is 34. Iran's average is 24. How much corruption is there in Iran? And by the way, for some of you guys are like, no, they're definitely not the biggest exporters of terrorism. That is America. That is not Iran. That's not what they're doing. Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah. You want me to continue? What do you want me to do with Iran, what they're doing? You think they wake up in the morning saying they love America? No. By the way, history for you. You know what's the first country ever that said death upon America? It was North Korea in the 50s. You know what's the second country in the world that ever said death upon America? It was Iran. You know under who? Khomeini. When? January of 1979, when Shah fell. And by the way,
but why did the Shah fall? Did the CIA have anything to do with that? Sort of like Ukraine in 2014.
Hey, for those of you that say, so what's your solution for Iran? Because I love the people of Iran, not the politics. I love the people of Iran. You want to know what the number 2 country, second country ever, in 1953, that announced Iran as Israel as a sovereign state? You know, it was the second leading Muslim country in the world in 1953 to actually announce Israel as a sovereign state. It was Iran. You know under who? the Shah of Iran, when Iran used to be at peace, when the Middle East.
If you go and you look at pictures of Iran during the 70s and everything, it looks like an American hippie college campus. It's insane how Iran's changed. And yeah, the Iran was much better off under the Shah. And it's go down that rabbit hole and how that government got overthrown.
East used to be at peace, and he got along with Israel, even though he didn't trust the Zionists who ran the media in America, and he called them out all the time in many interviews with Wallace, and he's always like, I don't trust those guys, the New York Times, the this, the that, but he still had a relationship with them, and Iran never got up saying, Marik Baron recall, death upon America. That anger and rage came from a different place. Why? I don't know. Now, let me continue with the people that say...
That's the most important thing that he said in this whole thing. I don't know. That's so many people have such a hard time saying that. I don't know. None of us know exactly what's going on. And everybody has their freaking biases. Everybody wants to be on a team. And that's why I love what Patrick Bet-David is doing here. He's stepping back and being like, everyone needs to chill the fuck out, especially if you guys have this idea that you're so strong that one team is the bad guy. Everybody's got bad guys. Everybody's got some good guys. Yes, it now Iran doesn't have any doesn't have much control over our government. I will say that. But what he's doing there, saying I don't know, and not immediately jumping on a team and immediately spitting out vitriol and demonizing an entire population, that's very important there. So just want to say that. I don't know. And most of you guys don't either. We're all trying to figure this shit out. That's what this show is. We're just trying to figure shit out.
Well, the part with Piers Morgan, it's a $300 billion U.S. has given to Israel. That's adjusted to inflation.
And I didn't know that either. I didn't know it was adjusted to inflation.
Really $150 billion since 1948. 76 years, of which most was given before 1980. Do you know why? Because on January 1st of 1980, you know what Jimmy Carter said? We're no longer giving you a lot of aid. He did what Biden does. He brought it all the way down to $200 million at the time. Okay, Biden, Carter, very similar. And it was shambles in the world. Carter, Biden, shambles in the world. Similarity, case study. Watch what happened from there. From 1980 till today, U.S. has given Israel $3 to $4 billion per year. Okay, military aid, economical aid, it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't even think they've given any money, but anything in the last 15 years, you can go look it up for yourself and see where that stands. And again, let's stay on this, because some of you guys are going to be like, yeah, but what's your point? We're still helping them out. Okay, well, you want me to help you out if you wake up every morning and you say death upon my country? Why would I help you out? And by the way, who is US's number one enemy in the world that caused, COVID, and still hasn't been held accountable for? Do you know what that country's name is? Yes, it's called China. Do you know who gave Iran $300 to $400 billion for the next 25 years? China. So you want me to be allies and friendly to Iran, knowing they just signed $300 to $400 billion? And by the way, for those of you guys,
Israel's doing a lot with China behind the scenes too, though. So
I like math and adjusted to inflation. What do you think $300 to $400 billion China has given to Iran right now is going to be in 76 years? $2, $3, $4 trillion. Is that also what you're going to be saying? So maybe you're Team China, because I'm not. I'm Team USA. I can continue on and on and on. I'm also not part of the camp that's sitting there saying Netanyahu didn't know that an attack was going to be taking place and CIA warned them. And I've interviewed the former director of Mossad, so there's not a lot of trust I have with them claiming to have the best intelligence, yet you get caught single-handedly.
That's the point I've been making from the jump. October 7th, 6 hours to respond. How did you guys not know? And I mean, even what's his face? Charlie Kirk, one of the most pro-Israel guys out there, was straight up asking. Actually, on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, he asked, was there a stand down order? Did Bibi give the IDF a stand down order? Like, no, let Hamas do their thing, because then we can point at it and say, look how evil Hamas is. We need to go root them out, and it'll give us an excuse to go into Gaza, level the place, and do a giant land grab. I've been asking that question from the beginning. I haven't gotten a good response out of anybody about why it took the most intelligent intelligence agency in the world 6 hours to respond. I haven't heard a good answer from anybody. So, you know, he's being very balanced here. He's he's being extremely balanced here. He's not taking Iran side. The most important thing, America first. And nobody in our government appears to be America first. And you look at the Ukraine package that just got passed right now. America first.
Publicly on October 7th. Come on now. Maybe you knew something was taking place. I don't know. I am purely asking questions. But what I would like to do with you, everybody watching this falls in one of three camps. One, you're part of the name calling camp. Do your thing. It doesn't bother me. I'm 45 years old. I made it to the levels that I have. If my wife, my kids, my family, I get along with them, I'm good. I don't.
Redheaded Rebel, good to see you. Lonnie, I want to danger. I want to get you a shirt too, man. I literally have one. I have one shirt and one hat. These are just sort of samples. I got a lot of stuff in the works. I need to set up. I could just get some shirts and hand them out, which I might do. I need to get stickers too. I'm getting my online store going, so we'll get there.
Don't need to win everybody over, but I would like us to have a relationship together, me and you, whether you agree with me or not. Let me tell you why I think we should have a relationship together. If you live in America, you're Muslim, you're Christian, you're Seventh-day, you're Jewish, you're atheist, you're Scientologist. I don't care what you are.
I care if you're a Scientologist. You're a freaking weirdo, even though Tom Cruise is freaking rad.
You ought to be America first, because this is where you raise your kids, because that's what I am. And by the way, whatever religion you got, you know why I'm hoping that we can build a stronger relationship with Muslims? Because we may disagree on the prophet, maybe Muhammad, maybe Jesus, maybe Abraham, but we don't like what they're doing to our kids. That's where I come in. And I want us to talk. Debate religion, set it aside. You want to mess with our kids? I'm not okay with that. Number two, mess with my religion. You want to practice your faith? I do as well. I don't want you to shut it down when it's COVID because you're saying Christians can't go to work yet everybody else can go because it's non-essential. I don't want that. I want freedom of raising my kids to my values, your values, religion, enterprise, business, speech, whatever it may be, so we can do our part. If we're on the same page, we need to fight for those same things. Two, I don't like the temperatures being too high right now. Man just set himself on fire in New York. What the hell is that all about? Do we want more of this? No, I want to lower the temperature. It doesn't mean you and I have to agree 100% of the time. Listen, I can talk to anybody and get along with anybody. I just talked to Suge Knight tonight. Guys call me from jail. I get along with billionaires. I get along with millionaires. I get along with a regular guy. I get along with sitting down and having conversations with Muslims on the podcast, Christians. It doesn't matter what you are, white, black, Asian. I don't care. I get along with everybody. I enjoy the conversation because I like debate. I like discourse. I know I can talk politics. I can talk sports. I can talk business. I can talk economy. And I'm not 100% expert on all of these things, but I have some experience where I want to talk about it. And my goal isn't to be right 100% of the time. Matter of fact, I like to talk to others that they give me a different argument. But this concept of where we are today, thinking this is a good thing, I don't think this is a good thing. I would like to find a way to lower the temperature. That's where I am at as a guy that was born in Iran, who witnessed what happened as a kid that went to Iran till 5th grade and wasn't happy about all the Magbat Amrika, Magbat Amrika, Magbat everybody. I didn't like that. It's too much hate. We need more love. We need to have our differences come together and sit down and say, what do we differ on? Following area? What do we unite on in the following areas? Let's light it up on this. I think Ben Shapiro is necessary. I think Tate is necessary. I think anybody out there that's voicing their opinion in a respectful manner is necessary. Having said that, I'm not going away. There's only one person that can fire me, is a man upstairs. If you watch this whole thing and you're able to still reason, please comment below and tear apart whatever argument you have. But for what it's worth, I appreciate you for watching this entire video. Thank you. God bless.
I love this dude. He's freaking rad. What do you guys think of that? I like Patrick Bet-David a lot. You guys should definitely go listen to his show, the podcast he just did on impact theory. That was a great one. Yeah, Patrick is yeah, I mostly agreed with him there. I mostly agreed with him on everything except the Ben Shapiro part. Can't stand Ben Shapiro. All right. Sorry. Ben Shapiro is just such a dork. All right. That's sort of the Israel wag the dog scenario that I got going on here. That everything that we saw the last few days, looking at it through the Seymour Hersh article lens, it kind of all makes sense when you look at it like that. And everybody's saying World War III has already started, this and that, and maybe it already has, but it's not a hot war right now. So that's good. And it looks like our Pentagon and our intelligence agencies might have done what we would actually hope that they would be doing. And that's de-escalating tensions behind the scenes as all these crazy world leaders are talking all their shit, getting everybody all riled up. I mean, if you watch the show, you know that I can't stand any of the intelligence agencies. I think they're all criminals. I think they are all actively working against America. And for whatever reason here, the Pentagon decided to, hey, let's try and dial back the tensions here. Let's try to bring down the temperature, as Patrick just said. So looking at everything through that lens of the Seymour Hersh article, which I highly recommend you guys read, or you could just go back to the beginning of this episode where I read the whole thing, and yeah, look at it through that lens, see what you think. All right, got plenty of other stuff to talk about here. That is my Israel segment for the night. Danger. Ben Shapiro's turned into a giant dork. He's always been a giant dork. But yeah, ever since he grew that goatee, he's just been, I don't know, that goatee did something to him. He's been extra dorky lately. Super annoying. He's been extra war hawkish lately. Ben Shapiro is Israel first. Like that's the thing, is he's talking about, well, we need to fund all these, we need to give Israel money. It's no, we don't. I don't think Israel is our greatest ally, personally. I mean, they might say that, but why isn't England our greatest ally? I feel like the Redcoats should be our greatest ally, but why not? Australia, Canada. Actually, yeah, why isn't Canada and Mexico our greatest allies? That's who should be our greatest allies, our freaking neighbors. So, yeah, why Israel? Why is Israel our greatest ally? It doesn't make any sense to me. And it doesn't seem like we get a lot out of the deal. That's anti-Semitic. Whatever. You guys ruined that term. Blood libel. Okay, whatever. All right, let's keep going here. We're gonna completely switch gears here, and we're gonna get into the P Diddy stuff a little bit, because we got some P Diddler updates, and yeah, I want to talk about it. So the first thing that hopped on my radar, geez, you guys in Rumble over there are freaking silent tonight. That is amazing. I've never had the Rumble chat this quiet. Let's talk about this. This video is kind of crazy. So this lady said she was going to expose Beyonce and Jay-Z, and I think J-Lo, and she made this video, and so she's famous over on TikTok, apparently, like big ass account on TikTok. She made this video talking about how she's going to expose, freaking Jay-Z, Beyonce, some other people. And that was the last video she ever made. She turned up dead. So this is a whole interesting scenario that I want to get into here. Actually, we'll go read what Mario Narwhal said here. So he says, famous TikToker died soon after exposing Beyonce and Diddy. Immediately after the raids on Diddy's home, Kyle Marissa Roth released videos on TikTok which she claimed to reveal little-known facts about the case, including alleged payoffs and instances of Beyonce attempting to remove online evidence of her attending a suspicious party. Kyle Marissa Roth died last week at age 36. No cause of death has been given yet, so which makes it even more interesting. So let's watch this video. This is a bit of a longer video, but that sucks. She's dead, because this chick she's funny. Like the way she explains stuff too. I just discovered her. I wish I knew about her before, but yeah, she's dead. And She seemed to be going pretty hard on this whole situation. So let's watch.
Because my main account is banned where all of my Diddy blind items from this month are, I'm just going to do all the March 2024 Diddy blind items so we can see the lead up to this. Starting off March 1st, and this is Little Rod.
Danger, what you mean she died of colon cancer? You got something to support that? Because I looked right before the show started. I tried to see if there's any update on this, and I couldn't find anything. So let me know if you got something on that.
Rodney Jones, Sean Diddy Combs, and this is the male victim that came forward. It's pretty easy to tell that whoever wrote the recent lawsuit against the wannabe rapper / producer reads this website on a pretty regular basis. They even use some of the same clues in their blind items. And I said before, and I'm saying again, no, that's because the blind item has been recording crimes that have been reported to them instead of the police for the past fucking 20 years. And they just corroborate the actual little crimes that, 3 homes got raided for today because of. Okay, this next one's also from March 1st. They call Diddy Mr. Freakoff. Mr. Freakoff isn't the only one who asked for straight men to be delivered to his hotel room when he is in London. Just ask the Unlocked blogger, and that's Jason Lee, and the weather boxer. Floyd May.
Danger, you can't just call everything a psyop, bro. What do you mean she wasn't that big before? She had a giant ass account, man.
Mayweather, this British rapper, and that's Giggs, and the socialite with the star in his.
And listen to what she's saying here. Like, how are you going to say this is a psyop? Listen to what she's saying.
His name, target dealers who want the extra cash, who are sure to be discreet because they have girlfriends. This is why the powerful rapper, and that's 50, is always mocking them and why they're too afraid to say anything back. He's seen the videos. Okay. This is TD Jakes and Mr. Freakoff. Those closest to the televangelist warned him about being associated with Mr. Freakoff, but he did not listen. Some of the men who claim to have stories about his private life have given him the name General High Booty. So Mr. Freakoff is Diddy, General High Booty is TD Jakes. I'm sure you can do the math on how that got there, that nickname. Sorry, guys, I'm flustered right now. Fucking, this is huge. Young Miami, the girlfriend of the wannabe rapper who was also named in a very recent lawsuit, has started selling off all of her possessions online. This is from March 4th. It sounds like the wannabe rapper cut her off financially. So Diddy cuts his girlfriend Young Miami off on March 4th. You are like almost exactly 20 days later. That's him. Like I said, he was offloading all of his assets into offshore bank accounts and with his mommy and with his kids. He didn't have any more cash in his bank accounts for Young Miami to get. They were all in the Caymans with the rest of the white collar criminals. Okay, and this is a 2013 blind item that was brought back again on March 4th about Beyonce, Jay-Z, Diddy, Kelly Rowland. In 2013, the Queen Bee and her husband attended a New Year's Eve party in Miami, which was being thrown by Mr. Freakoff. No one who was there has ever forgotten that night because she spent the entire night in the pool dancing into space. Her best friend who recently starred in the Netflix movie called for help, but she was ignored. It's like she was in a trance. By the way, so this is Beyonce and Jay-Z party into 2014 at Diddy's New Year's Eve bash. So you can Google that, Diddy's 2013, New Year's Eve bash, obviously bringing in 2014. And you can see in the articles how they had had linked Beyonce's Instagram account, and all of her posts from this 2013 party were removed when I initially reported on this blind item from my main account at the beginning of March. I just find that interesting. Do you guys see how all of these chips were kind of falling? This is why I'm also so pissed my main's not here anymore, because I had captured this all in real time. And I remember being like, oh, that's weird. All of Beyonce's posts from Diddy's party are fucking gone, and any evidence of her being there are fucking gone. This one aged so well, you guys. So this is about Little Rod, the male victim that filed a lawsuit against Diddy. Publicly, there are more, but they just haven't publicly done anything. And then TD Jakes, General High Beauty. The lawsuit filed by the producer claims Mr. Booty Grabber planned to use the televangelist, so now Diddy is Mr. Booty Grabber in this, use the televangelist to clean up his image after the first lawsuit with the singer. Why was he so sure the televangelist would risk his own reputation to save his? Look no further than the secret recordings and what he knows about his daughter's adoption. Except, Listen, TD Jake, save yourself because you got nothing to clean up. It's been raided. Everything. And finally, Simon Cowell, Sean Diddy Combs, Ryan Seacrest, The Wanted, glad he came. And this is on, by the way, Simon Cowell is rumored to be a notorious harem holder. Kind of like Diddy. The music competition judge / record exec, and that Simon Cowell is worried that he is next to face the Mr. Freakoff treatment. Okay, so Simon... Let's raid Simon Cowell's harem next. Not only because of
Danger, you're saying that the Daily Mail has a piece on her dying from colon cancer. She doesn't look very sick in this picture. I mean, that's some fast moving colon cancer. So that'd be interesting.
the things he may have done, but because of what he didn't do to protect contestants from the closeted radio exec, and that's Ryan Seacrest, who preyed on them.
So yeah, she's just I mean, I don't know if this information was already out there, but she is definitely shining a giant spotlight on, I mean, Simon Cowell, connecting him to this. We've already been suspecting Jay-Z and Beyonce of crazy and nefarious shit. And you know that Jay-Z and Beyonce, very close to the Obamas. And then, well, the Podesta emails, pizza, hot dogs, all that shit, which we'll get into a little bit later. The reason I'm playing this is because all this stuff seems to be connected, and the whole blackmail scheme, getting people in compromising positions, all back to that kind of stuff.
Same radio exec was behind the formation of the boy band The Wanted, who was Glad You Came. And that's a really gross pun right there in the blind item. Those are all the March 2024 blind items on Diddy. Probably more to come, I would say. But it all ended with March 25th, 3 of Diddy's homes get raided and 2 of his sons got arrested. Hey, J-Lo, you got anything to say yet? Please don't sing it, though.
That last line was funny as hell. Yeah, her music was awful. All right. I mean, what don't you guys read on this whole thing? That was, I mean, she's talking a lot of shit there about some very powerful people. You're not saying she's wrong with her info. A lot of this stuff, I think a lot of the stuff she was talking about is in this lawsuit. That's public information. That's what people are claiming in this P. Diddy lawsuit. I need to dig into that lawsuit itself. That's what I need to do more of. Ian Carroll has he's done a bunch of work on this. So I wonder if he's done any updates on this yet. I don't think he has. He was just on Timcast yesterday, not Timcast IRL. He was on the Culture War show, which I don't get why he wasn't on IRL. I mean, he's very up to speed on stuff. He's not like, I was kind of disappointed that he was on the Culture War show, though they did talk about stuff that they wouldn't have normally talked about on IRL. They got all tinfoily. It was nice. I liked it. Ian Carroll is awesome. His live streams are great too. And this dude goes hard. He goes for like 4 hours and he gets way off in the weeds. He's done serious work connecting dots between people. He's got the strings on the wall where he's got, like the conspiracy guys. He's got that. It's just on his computer. And he connects freaking all the BlackRock employees and shows how there's people that just bounce back and forth all the time between intelligence agencies and regulators, like regulation agencies like the FDA, the CDC, all that kind of shit. And they'll go work for pharmaceutical companies. And he's got tons of documentation where he goes back and forth and follows all that stuff. B Sizzo, nice to see you. I've been listening on X. That's cool. I find that super suspicious that lady died. Yes. Yeah, everybody. That was her last video. That's, yeah, not cool. Not cool. I actually appreciate it if you guys are watching on X. That's I think I'll know next. I'll know the next time I get paid. But X is the only platform that actually pays me. I haven't made a penny from YouTube or from Rumble. And YouTube did something super weird. They took down one of my Israel episodes from like a week or two ago, and they gave me a strike. And they told me, like, we gave you a strike, and I challenged it. And they said, okay, no, it was still misinformation. We're still going to keep your video down, but we're removing the strike because it wasn't super bad misinformation. It's like, what the hell is that? It either was misinformation or it wasn't misinformation. So whatever. They took down the video, but they retracted their strike. So I still only have a warning, which I could have the warning removed if I went through YouTube's re-education program that they have, but I refuse to do that. So I don't care about YouTube. I really don't. I just don't care. I probably should, because if my account grows on YouTube, I could actually make money. But yeah, I don't care. YouTube is awful. It says the crap out of anybody. I almost don't want to make money on YouTube because then I might find myself self-censoring, and I don't want to do that. So, all right, let's keep going with this P. Diddy stuff. So this is from Dom Luker, and he says, developing. Fans of hip-hop have been addressing the conspiracy of satanic sex blackmail on the internet recently. On May 26, 2021, New York rapper Smart exposed how some of the artists in the music industry are drugged and raped before they sign their first contract in satanic worship. This is no different than the rumors of sex magic being conducted during Hollywood's backdoor orgy mansion parties. This same type of scenario was mentioned in the recent Sean Diddy Combs lawsuit that alleged Puffy kept secret tapes of influential people for blackmail. The same can be said about Jeffrey Epstein. And then there's that chick, like, I don't know, I think she's French. I don't remember where she's from. That Jay-Z was. She's the Satanist lady. I actually have a picture of her. What's her name? Where is she? I don't have it in this. I don't have it in this block. I'm forgetting her name. Jay-Z just did something in New York where he was up on stage with her. Everybody's wearing all white, and he's like rapping in her face, and she's super weird. The artist, the Satanist artist. I'm blanking on her name right now. Maybe one of you guys will drop in the chat and remind me. All right, I can't remember her name right now. I'm blanking on it. But on February 9th, 2017, rapper Ollie Vegas exposed the music industry for engaging in rituals that he claims to have witnessed firsthand. On August 5th, 2011, former Master P, No Limit Records A&R, T Miles claimed that the rappers were reportedly getting effed in the butt through homosexual blackmail for their contracts. He says, I was offered a contract. Dom Luker saying, I was offered a contract in 2017 through my label IVOS from Universal Music Group and experienced something very similar. I didn't sign and left the industry after that. I will be telling my story in full on camera soon. Okay, I don't know. Dom Luker has a tendency to be a little extra sometimes, but let's watch this video here. Who is this? I think this is the dude Smart that he's talking about. This guy's just talking about some crazy shit and looks like a barbershop.
They got rituals to see. You got the right one.
I don't know about rituals.
I never sold myself.
See,
I never did no gay shit. So I don't feel uncomfortable saying about it. What I told you, the devil's job is to take as many souls as possible. The music industry is satanic. When I say it's still the same gatekeepers, what I mean by that is a company called Vivendi.
Mary Abramovich. Thank you guys. Who said that? That was Free Honk Honk Non-Mundane. That's a great name there. B says out, thank you. Right after that, Abramovich, Marie Abramovich. Yeah, she's the Satanist art lady that is friends with Jay-Z, and she's all into that Satanist crazy sacrifice stuff. And she's friends with everyone in Hollywood, and yeah, she's just super creepy.
Vivendi. Period. Vivendi. Y'all can Google that. Vivendi owns Viacom. It's umbrella companies. This shit don't change, right? That's one. Two, with the music business, once they see you got potential to be influential over the masses, so when they get proposition and they see a car, they go, they don't know, don't drink after a nigga. They don't know a nigga going.
They never been what happened. They don't know the rules that apply.
I'm gonna tell you, put niggas out there, right? But a nigga in the studio,
my bad.
We from the hood. I used to stick niggas up, bro. Babyface. I used to book niggas. So I'm always on point, bro. I'm on point right now, my nigga. Always on my square. But a nigga that's a square, he don't know. Yeah. So he don't know why should drink. He don't know. So now he drink behind the nigga.
I wish they'd chill out with the N-word.
Nigga, he get drugged. They rape this nigga. They.
Why does he have to say it like every sentence?
They rape this nigga, videotape it. Then when he in a meeting, they give him a shitty contract. They play the video of him getting fucked by like 3 niggas. He ain't never.
Makes you wonder about Bieber. Always wondering about Bieber now.
Been doing shit like that, so he like, man, what? Fuck it, I'm just gonna sign, and you gonna give me money. So rather than get that story put out, He gonna sign that bad contract, which is the 360 deal. He gonna
And now all that P. Diddy stuff coming out about him apparently drugging people waking. This is the thing that is so insane about all of this is how it's the exact same thing that Epstein did. And it's the exact same thing that Meyer Lansky did with J. Edgar Hoover. And then what J. Edgar Hoover started doing. It's all the exact same stuff. This goes back a very long time. Who else is involved with this stuff?
take that advance, which is recuperable anyway. So they're gonna give him the money just to take back and own the rights to his shit.
I'm sitting here with 5 niggas that got the same look like
I'm telling y'all, they fucking niggas around out here. Y'all, they are fucking niggas around. They giving niggas some shit. It ain't what you think. You fuck around, wake up tomorrow, shit, ass nigga with a footy on, and don't know what the fuck.
B says, "Oh, we're gonna get into Kanye in a minute."
You just did. I mean, real shit. Your motherfucker meat pistol fucked up and your ass hurting. You don't know what the fuck you're saying.
The way he's describing it's just funny. It's wrong, but it's just funny. Did you see say a meat pistol?
You don't know who to tell. But this is what the game is going to. That's what it's going to. Then here it is, it's time for a contract to come out.
Why does Dom gotta add this stupid music? It's just play the videos. The music annoys me.
Nigga want to sign you for 5 years. You like, nah, dog. So you don't want to sign with us? Nah. That's no nah. Man, pop in the tape. Show this nigga what he did last night. I'm serious.
And remember, one of the allegations is that P. Diddy had his entire house wired for video and sound. And he had his servants, his butlers or whatever the hell you want to call them, they had fanny packs. They wore fanny packs everywhere they went. And they would have drugs on them all the time. And he would drug people and put them in compromising positions. Everything he's saying is lining up with what they're saying in this lawsuit, what the allegations are in this lawsuit.
Dude, this real shit I'm telling y'all though. Pop in the tape. You sitting that motherfucker like, man, what the fuck? Yeah, well, what the fuck? That's what happened. You got fucked. What you gonna do? You gonna sign that contract. You don't want nobody in the hood to see that shit. You don't want this shit to get out, dog. I'm telling y'all, and this is what I'm gonna tell y'all like this. These niggas that you see constantly high, they're not getting high because they like to get high. They getting high because they know what they done done.
Send the stylist at them first.
Yeah. Yep.
And if the stylist report back and be like, oh, he ready, then they invite you to the party. And that's when they be like, yo, look, you go in here, it's gonna be some, you know what I mean? It's a nigga at the door.
Okay, now look, what Ali Vegas is doing to you right now, he's giving you the game of how these niggas be getting turned the fuck out.
Yeah, like
They've tried to put this tight ass shirt on you.
that's what they do.
And if you wear the shirt,
They like, oh, he ready.
he with it.
That's you telling them like, yeah, I'm ready. And then next thing you know, you get invited to the party with the greeting is the man squeezing your dick.
Whoa.
Wild. Shit is wild, you guys. All right, let's keep going. All right, so I said we're going to get into Kanye in a minute. We're going to. I'm starting to wonder if there's a problem with the chat over on Rumble. If you guys are watching over on Rumble, try to put something in the chat because I think I might have an issue. Let's see. I set this stream up yesterday and I edited it and changed the time. So now I'm wondering if there's actually an issue with the Rumble chat. So I refreshed the Rumble chat. And yeah, because I've never seen the Rumble chat just completely empty like this before. So I think there's probably an issue with Rumble going on right now. Probably because of the way I set the stream up. All right, let's keep going here. We're gonna talk about Diddy. Now we're gonna talk about Kanye. Cause Yeah. Kanye himself is a whole other rabbit hole. And everybody thought Kanye went crazy, but now it's kind of looking like a lot of the shit that he's been saying P. Diddy's a Fed for years. And he did that whole thing where he started, I believe it was right after he told on stage at one of his concerts, he told Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Don't send them at me or something like that. Talk to me. And he started getting all political on stage. And then very shortly after that, his freaking trainer, this dude, what's this guy's name? Harley Pasternak. This dude, Kanye was saying that this dude drugged me, and his text came out where he told Kanye that he's going to, well, we'll get into that in a minute, but he was threatening Kanye about just basically drugging him, making him go crazy. And Kanye was saying this. Everybody's like, what's he talking about? His personal trainer? And it sounds crazy. But now looking into it and looking into Harley Pasternak and what this guy's background is, it doesn't sound so crazy anymore. So let's listen. Let's go back to an old clip of Tucker when he was on Fox News, when he was on Tucker Carlson Tonight, and listen to what he had to say about the whole situation way back when.
Midterm elections, there are a lot of celebrities out there campaigning for Democratic candidates all over the country. You probably saw them, actors, singers, TikTok personalities, all doing their part for the Democratic Party. You probably weren't surprised by this. It's normal. Pop culture figures always support Democrats, every single one of them. But have you ever wondered why all of these supposedly creative people reach exactly the same conclusion every time? They're all on the same page. How could that happen? It's an interesting question. We don't know the answer, but you should consider what happened when one of the most famous singers in the world broke with the herd. On November 19th, 2016, a week and a half after Donald Trump won the presidential election, Kanye West, now known as Ye, held a concert in Sacramento. Most people in the audience were, of course, young people and presumably Hillary Clinton voters and presumably deeply disappointed by her loss a week and a half before. So in the middle of the show, West stopped performing and started talking about politics. Google lied to you, he said, by suggesting to its users that Hillary was going to win. Quote, Facebook lied to you. I'm not here to massage you with a fake truth telling you that Hillary's going to win over and over and over. You were lied to by Google. You were lied to by Mark Zuckerberg. Middle America, West continued, showed you how they felt. Well, at this point, some of the audience began to boo, but West kept going. He complimented Donald Trump repeatedly. At one point, he used the phrase, make America great again. It was, to put it mildly, not the kind of thing you normally hear at a rap concert. And then, 2 days later, Kanye West was in the hospital. Well, at the house of his family's exercise trainer, a man called Harley Pasternak, West apparently suffered some kind of mental break. Pasternak called an ambulance to pick him up. West was taken away, and then he was sedated with at least 7 different psychiatric medications, including benzodiazepines, lithium, sleeping pills, and olanzapine. News reports suggested that West had experienced a profound psychiatric episode.
Man, Tucker went pretty hard on Fox News even back then. I mean, he's getting, people would call this conspiracy theories and stuff, but I mean, he's all this stuff's like documented. You can check everything he's saying right now, but people would call him a conspiracy theorist anyway.
He'd gone completely off the deep end. He'd gone crazy, and they've been saying that ever since. West, over time, though, told a very different story. In his telling, after what he'd said on stage in Sacramento, Harley Pasternak was trying to shut him up. Pasternak, he said, was not simply a trainer, but instead an agent of ideological control. Pasternak's job was to keep West from straying from the script, and he's willing to use powerful drugs to do it. That's what he said. But very few people took that claim seriously. In fact, it was exactly the kind of thing a crazy person would say. My trainer drugged me into submission. He's trying to make me into a zombie. Right. Sure he did. Have another olanzapine shot, Kanye. You look tired. So that's where the story stood until the other day. Nobody believed Kanye West. Then West posted something remarkable on Twitter, which for some reason virtually all of American media ignored, which is odd because media outlets are not usually in the business of ignoring remarkable things, but they did. And what he posted was a picture of a text exchange that he had had with Harley Pasternak. Pasternak was explaining that West had better stop saying, quote, crazy stuff. In other words, he'd better get back on script, or else he would be severely punished. Quote, second option, if you don't shut up, quote, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. End quote.
They MK Ultra Kanye.
Try if you can to imagine a more sinister threat than that, a more chilling threat than that. Do what I say or I will turn your brain to mush. I will destroy your relationship with your own children. I will send you back to, quote, zombie land forever. Effectively, I'll kill you. Now, keep in mind, this is from West's, quote, trainer, not his physician. This is the guy he'd hired to help him do squats. A trainer? Really? Do they talk like that at your gym? Probably not. So what's going on here exactly? Well, according to his bio, Harley Pasternak, who is not denied writing these texts, once worked for the Canadian military, where he participated in experiments that measured the effect of various drugs on the human mind. Is that training relevant to this story? We don't know. We do know that based on this text exchange, which again, Harley Pasternak has not said is untrue or fake, on the basis of that, law enforcement agencies definitely ought to be looking very closely at Harley Pasternak, who, by the way, apparently has dozens of other celebrity clients, some of whom seem to be out there campaigning. Based on these texts, this looks like a crime. Why is no one investigating it? The fact that no one is investigating it tells you a lot.
All right, we'll keep going with the Harley Pasternak stuff. So this is an interview that he's doing where he talks about his experience in the military and what he was working on. So this isn't just some random personal trainer. This dude is former Canadian intelligence, and he worked on some serious MK Ultra type stuff. So these threats to Kanye seem to be legit.
Lucky enough to have him as my graduate advisor. And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance. And
when you say drugs, are that like performance enhancing drugs, or are they
all
just
kinds of drugs?
Right. Okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was. So
What? I'm sorry. All kinds of drugs. And, working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws as you guys. What? Okay, so this is Kanye's personal trainer that he said drugged him and held him hostage and threatened him and all this shit. And Kanye's been a little wacky ever since. Huh. Maybe there is some legitimacy in what Kanye was saying.
I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things. So we looked at a drug called modafinil, which was for narcoleptics. So if you give a soldier this drug, how long could they stay awake for without having any health detriment?
Is that used now as one of these brain drugs? I've heard the name before somewhere.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Modafinil, it will keep you awake, but it's not a stimulant.
Really?
So if a special forces person has to stay awake for 3 nights waiting for
I don't trust dudes that sit like that. And it sucks because Jordan Peterson sits like that.
the right opportunity to do whatever they have to do, we could give them modafinil and it would keep them alert.
See the difference? This is how a dude is supposed to sit with his if you want to put one leg on the other leg, you got to put your ankle on top of the knee. Doing this, you're crushing your balls a little too much, and that makes you suspicious. So I'm just saying, you guys out there that sit like that, you're suspect.
I did research on a drug called acetazolamide, which is for use at high altitude, so you don't get altitude sickness.
Okay, so he specializes in drugs for the Canadian military. Okay, so maybe there was some legitimacy to what Kanye was saying. And yeah, we'll go over to Free Thinker Fitness. Kanye West was drugged by a Hollywood personal trainer, Harley Pasternak. Pasternak recruited by the military to run Superhuman Lab, worked with all kinds of drugs, threatened to send Kanye back to Zombieland forever. Okay, let's watch this quick clip.
I'm hoping to help you one of a couple ways. This is what Harley says. I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to Zombieland forever. It says play date with the kids just won't be the same. Do you see the games that these devils play?
The latest on Kanye West. We're learning more about his breakdown, what was going on before he was hospitalized. West is now getting a psychiatric evaluation in Los Angeles.
West was being treated for sleep deprivation when his doctor reportedly called 911 saying he was psychotic. The 911 call came in around 1:20 p.m. on Monday after West was reportedly acting erratically. Paramedics and the Los Angeles Fire Department rushed to the Hollywood home of his personal trainer, where, according to TMZ, officials spoke with West for 90 minutes before following protocol for a psychiatric patient, restraining him and taking him to UCLA Medical Center for an evaluation.
Our guest today is a fitness and nutrition specialist and boasts the largest celebrity client roster in the industry. He's worked with the likes
This might be the same clip, so I'll stop it if you start saying the same thing.
of Kanye West, Lady Gaga, Rihanna, Halle Berry, Katy Perry, Megan Fox, Kim Kardashian, Alicia Keys, and many, many more.
Huh. All those artists are suspect in certain ways, aren't they? Like we talked about Lady Gaga earlier, and a bunch of those people that he just listed, aren't they connected to that Maria Abramovich chick, and also accused of going to these crazy, weird, satanic-ish parties and shit like that? And I mean, Kim Kardashian and Megan Fox doesn't even look like the same person. I mean, she's just crazy looking now. And man, she was so hot. But yeah, just okay. Very weird that those are the other people he's a personal trainer to.
Please join me in welcoming celebrity trainer, fitness and nutrition specialist, and best-selling author, Harley Pasternak.
I was working on my PhD on exercise physiology.
All right, this is the same clip, so we'll move on. All right, so I threw this in here again. I played this on another episode, but this is the dude that shot up the Trump Hotel. You guys remember this dude? And I totally forgot about the Trump Hotel getting shot up. But this dude, the guy that shot up Trump Hotel, what's his name? I'm not even seeing his name here, but yeah, he like tore down an American flag, ran the Trump hotels, got in a shootout with the cops and shit. And then this is his interview with the cops after, and he starts talking about how he was P. Diddy's sex slave. And they were like, what the hell are you talking about? But looking at everything through this new lens, it's like, oh shit, what did this guy know? And this dude seems like he's got some MK Ultra vibes too.
Combs.
Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I was like a sex slave, okay?
That was another thing that P. Diddy's accused of, is he would direct, actually, that crap, that the chick that 50 Cent's involved with too. Like there's been accusations that P. Diddy was like directing people what to do. And that's exactly what he said there, that P. Diddy would like tell him what to do and he would watch. Just super weird shit, probably all on camera.
Well, that's what I was. That's all. All right. I caught herpes, and I came back and I seen him for the herpes and won. But Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? Mm-hmm. They're gay.
Who?
Both Diddy and Ross and Khaled. They're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They're all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
I seen the liquid cocaine.
The cop's like, what's this guy talking about? And he's trying to tell him, because it's like this all has something to do with him going and shooting up the Trump Hotel.
Track of myself having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time. All right, he calls it Gigi. That's liquid cocaine.
All right.
I've settled $4.125 million with Diddy. I've settled $4.125 million with Diddy.
So he's saying that he settled a lawsuit with Diddy and got $4.5 million. And then it says, this is an article that says alleged Trump Doral gunman Jonathan Odie went from dead broke to a property buying spree in 1 month. So that seems to lend some credence to what he just said.
Okay, was he scared that I was exposed?
I don't want to talk about Diddy right now. I want to talk about you. Help me understand you. I mean, who?
He's like, I'm trying to. That's what I'm telling you. So this is the shootout he got in at the Trump Hotel. This is back in 2018.
It looks like an exchange of gunfire right out of a Hollywood action movie.
Police say on Friday he opened fire inside President Donald Trump's luxury hotel.
Sir, I'm ordering that you stay away from the Trump National Doral Hotel.
Police say that's where Odie stole an American flag from, and that he went into the lobby yelling anti-Trump remarks before shooting the ceiling and chandeliers. Police say he then got into a gun battle with responding officers.
The gun battle goes on for nearly a minute before Odie decides to make a run for it. Another camera capturing him still firing shots, even tripping on the marble floor. Odie was shot in the legs as he ran away and was arrested after running up a stairwell.
The accused gunman, Jonathan Odie, faced a judge for the first time Monday.
Mr. Odie, you were arrested for 5 counts of attempted second-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
I wonder what happened to that dude. I wonder what that dude's doing right now. All right, so P. Diddy stuff, right? And this all goes to the whole, it sounds crazy, but this all goes in the sexual blackmail, satanic pedophile elite bucket thing that, you know, has been debunked as a conspiracy theory, but all of this stuff was debunked as a conspiracy theory before the Epstein shit and before this P. Diddy shit stopped. Danger, they do spirit cooking. Yeah. They do that. Yeah, it's super freaking weird. All of them. Everyone that Harley Pasternak guy was involved with, they're all into that spirit cooking shit too. So it's like all this stuff connects in this freaking weird ass way. So now we're going to talk about the Pizzagate shit because all of that was debunked, right? All the Pizzagate stuff was debunked. And then, well, you look back at all of it and it's kind of like, was it though? Was it? And they all say because that dude that went into the Comet Pizza Parlor and started saying, show me the basement, show me the basement. And they're like, we don't even have a basement. And that's what they were saying, debunked the whole Pizzagate thing. And then the very reporter that debunked the Pizzagate thing, he got locked up for kiddie porn. Oops, am I not even supposed to say that on YouTube? I think I'm not supposed to, but I don't care. And they're saying that there was no basement at Common Pizza. And I'm not even so sure that was true, but let's get into the whole Pizzagate thing because that's a whole other freaking rabbit hole. And it seems to tie into all of this stuff. All this stuff ties together, and especially with Obama's relationship with Jay-Z, Beyonce, P. Diddy, you know, that whole chef that was paddleboarding that just drowned in like 4 feet of water. I'm not saying that had anything to do with it. It's just weird. It's weird timing too. So just saying. All right, let's go over to Liz Crokin, who everybody calls a conspiracy theorist, but seems to be right more often than not. So she says, it's time for Bill Maher to correct the record on Pizzagate. In 2018, Bill Maher called Pizzagate a conspiracy theory and falsely referred to Hillary Clinton as running a child sex ring from a pizza parlor, the old deep state narrative to deflect from the truth. Pizzagate was always about the pedophile code words such as pizza, that were used by Hillary Clinton's associates and John Podesta's emails, released by WikiLeaks in 2016, that led to a citizen investigation where we learned through open source evidence that the Clintons and many of their associates are part of an elite pedophile ring involved in rape and torture and trafficking of children. The FBI, the DOJ, local law enforcement, and media outlets such as the Wall Street Journal have all confirmed pizza is a pedophile code word, despite the media ignoring or lying about this for years. There's proof that pizza was a pedophile code word years before the Podesta emails were even released. Also, there's been a lawsuit filed against Mark Zuckerberg's Meta claiming that pedophiles used pizza as a pedophile code on Instagram. That was all recent. Furthermore, the evidence NYPD found on Anthony Weiner's laptop, reported by True Pundit in 2016, implicated Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and associates in crimes such as child exploitation and sex crimes with minors. In 2018, the Inspector General's report confirmed this story on page 294, citing Hillary Clinton and Foundation crime against children. Furthermore, let's not forget that Bill and Hillary Clinton went to their close friend Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island, regularly visited his ranch in New Mexico that he planned to turn into a baby breeding farm, and that Epstein claims to have co-founded the Clinton Foundation. Baby breeding farm. I haven't heard about that part. Okay. And Epstein claimed to have co-founded the Clinton Foundation? I didn't know about that either. Also, Ghislaine Maxwell claimed she helped launch the Clinton Foundation too, and was so close with the Clintons that she attended Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Okay. Also, let's talk about the pizza parlor Comet Ping Pong and how the owner, James Alefantis, promoted pedophilia on his Instagram, along with disturbing images exploiting children, and he had bands perform at his family wedding restaurant promoting screw it, I don't care if I get nuked on YouTube, promoting child rape and child sacrifice. There's also the pesky fact that several mainstream media reporters who covered up Pizzagate have been arrested for pedophile crimes. Since Maher did a segment exposing elite pedophile rings, it's time he tells the truth about Pizzagate. Hey, Bill Maher, I'm happy to provide you with the evidence proving it's true if you still don't believe it. Or better yet, I'll debate you on your show. Liz Crokin goes hard. Check out Mike Smith's viral documentary Out of the Shadows, where hundreds of millions of people around the world learned about Pizzagate. Yeah, Out of the Shadows is a crazy ass documentary. You guys should watch that. So this is the clip that she's talking about from Bill Maher. It's not even 2 minutes. Watch it quick.
Finally, new rule: conspiracy theories have to go back to what they used to be. Fun little stories we would tell each other when we were high. Space aliens crashed in Roswell. Hitler escaped to Argentina. Elvis.
Tim Kennedy did a whole show on the History Channel about Hitler potentially escaping to Argentina. It was called Hunting Hitler. Tim Pool did a whole thing on it. Not saying that a lot of people think that Hitler survived and escaped to Argentina, and there's evidence supporting that, at least that some Nazis went to Argentina. So it's just funny that he says that when it's like, wait a minute, hold up. There was a whole TV show on this, and it was on a main channel with Tim Kennedy, who's not a conspiracy theorist. So it's weird.
This is alive and working at the IHOP. That's what conspiracy theories used to be. But now they're the ideology of the Republican Party. Conspiracy theorists used to be called crazy. Now they're called senator.
Fat.
It used to be an unwritten rule of both parties that you can't just make shit up. The old, you're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts thing. But that was before Republicans discovered, yes, you can just make shit up. You can have your own facts. In fact, we just pulled a fresh batch out of the oven. And by the oven, I mean our ass. I never liked Rush Limbaugh, but I would take a return to 90s era ditto heads any day, because it turned out that Rush was really just a gateway drug.
Didn't the Democrats scream Russiagate, Russiagate, Russiagate for 4 years, and none of it turned out to be true? Like, none of it at all? Okay. What is he saying that Republicans said are... What is he saying was false?
To which they eventually built up a tolerance and then needed something stronger. That was Glenn Beck, which led to Alex Jones. And now, Republicans, you're the Alex Jones party.
Glenn Beck did not lead to Alex Jones. Alex Jones has been doing this for freaking decades.
There is literally nothing too stupid and conspiratorial that you will not swallow. Hillary running a child sex ring out of a pizza parlor. Sounds right.
All right. Well, let's get into that. So, and here's your chick, Elena, what's her name? Abramovich or whatever. Let's see. You guys put it in the chat. Maria Abramovich. Here she is on the cover here, holding the severed head of a goat or something like that. That's what it looks like. Yeah, the Satanist lady. So this is from Illuminati Bot. He says, Pizzagate did not originate from Q's post. It came from John Podesta's emails that were published by WikiLeaks. Those emails were never disputed. We'll keep going here. You guys, all these emails, you can find them. They're super suspicious when you read them. Not like beyond suspicious. Knowing that pizza and hot dogs are documented pedophile terms. And then in these emails, when they're talking about ordering tons of pizzas and hot dogs, and it's horrific when you read these emails through that lens.
Warning to viewers, the following images are disturbing. This all began after WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange released hundreds of thousands of secret documents detailing a backstabbing Clinton Foundation, but it now appears the real truth Assange was leading us to was hidden between the blurred lines of Hillary Clinton's campaign manager John Podesta's released emails. Fast forward past John Podesta's brother Tony's casual email exchange with thelemic spirit cooking adherent Marina Abramovic. Rosetta Stone was needed next, a verification that high-level Washington, D.C. predatory pedophiles were using a code to communicate child sex trafficking as casually as ordering a pizza. An FBI unclassified document from WikiLeaks revealed symbols and logos used by pedophiles to identify sexual preferences, to include those who sexually abuse children, as well as those who produce, distribute, and trade child pornography, are using various types of identification logos or symbols to recognize one another and distinguish their sexual preferences. Investigators should also be attentive to pedophilia symbols advertised on websites. During examinations of computer files, investigators should be conscious of subjects who try to conceal child pornography by labeling them with symbols instead of typical suggestive, explicit names. Thus, the interest in code words.
Look at all those symbols, too. Like, you guys see these everywhere. These freaking symbols here. You see these all over the place. It's once you like know what to look for, and you start seeing some crazy shit out in the real world, and it makes you look like a nutball if you say anything about it.
Interest in code words. Now, clues. The menu from Comet Ping Pong. Notice the symbol of the ping pong paddles and its clever resemblance to the FBI document's symbol for child love. All right, hang on, New York Times. Before you declare this fake news from your ivory tower, now look at the symbol for Besta Pizza, just 2 doors down from Comet Ping Pong Pizza.
You guys see this symbol right here? Up on the left-hand corner?
Boldly using the symbol for boy lover as was recorded on the unclassified FBI document. The evidence begins to reveal that Besta Pizza and Comet Ping Pong Pizza may be competing for the lucrative Washington, D.C. pedophile market right out in the open. Comet Ping Pong owner James Alefantis needs to explain himself, and so he did, via the Hillary Clinton colluding New York Times. But so many questions remain unanswered. Why was this said by the band Heavy Breathing performing in Comet Ping Pong?
He likes the world sounds. Tamales.
And little boys.
And children. I think I was his manager.
No.
We all have preferences.
Why is
How creepy was that shit?
the artwork adorning Comet Ping Pong's walls at the very least so insanely creepy, especially for a family restaurant? Why is Alefantis so close to Tony Podesta as revealed in the WikiLeaks emails? And why does Mr. Podesta collect questions?
That's the thing too. So the connections this dude had, and then how wealthy he became in a very short amount of time. The more you dig into this, the more you're like, holy crap, was Pizzagate real? Because it's kind of starting to look like Pizzagate was real. And this is a newscaster that did a real story on this. And this was some local news station. This is Ben Swan. It was published. I can't read that. Published by Ben Swan, I think. And I think this dude got fired very shortly after he did this segment. And he goes into some depth here. So let's watch this clip because it's like almost 6 minutes long. We're going to watch the whole thing.
Well, Pizzagate, it became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support the story? I've got to warn you, what we're going to talk about tonight will be disturbing to some people. But this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else. Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. In all, WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that the claims that John Podesta may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. Now, to be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs.
And they make no sense if you're just actually talking about pizza and handkerchiefs. They make zero sense. But if you're talking about kids and you're running a secret pedophile ring, it makes perfect sense and it's insidious.
Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. So how did a DC pizza parlor get pulled into the story? Well, again, read any mainstream report and they indicate that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was somehow linked to this fake story and has no relation to anyone involved. But the truth is that's not true either. What media is ignoring is that the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times, and that the owner of that place, James Alefantis, is a friend of John Podesta.
So, I mean, just that right there, the Podesta emails specifically referencing Comet Ping Pong Pizza and then James Alefantis being friends with John Podesta, that rebunks the story. That the story was not debunked. The whole thing that they're saying is, oh, it didn't have a basement. It's not real. It's starting to look real.
He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner. Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring. But there are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza, and the accusations of pedophilia. Now, this is where things start to get strange when you research this story. Now, to begin, I need to show you a 2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI, contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to.
So this is not InfoWars, folks, which even if it was, I would still be listening to it because they are right a lot. This is a local news station doing this report. Okay.
To see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image.
Exact same image. Exact same. And remember, people are saying they were competing pizza parlors for the people in DC that have very specific sexual preferences. And when you look at things through the blackmail lens, you think politicians that have these specific sexual preferences would want this information coming out? And if powerful organizations or people had the information about those politicians, influential people in pop music, actors, anything, do you think they would be able to leverage that information to do what these groups or people wanted them to do? And it makes you wonder. And then when you link this type of blackmail back to its origins and who did this type of thing and how Congress is constantly voting seemingly against the will of the American people on foreign wars, a very specific foreign war, all this stuff really ties together.
Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle. Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alphantis, is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. 2 of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and the band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there, that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love. As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alphantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate...
Oh, Media Matters. Weird. Huh. Media Matters.
It began to blow up online. He has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private. But an archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and words with strange and disturbing images associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures. We're not even going to describe them to you because some viewers would find it too disturbing to share on TV. Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago. He was referred to by the judge as a serial child molester. According to the Washington Post, visitors to Tony Podesta's home in Falls Church got an eyeful when they walked into a bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes. And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange some of this stuff is. And bear in mind, we can't get into a lot of the real details of it because of the limits on broadcasting this on television. But it is some very strange stuff. Now, keep in mind, again, there is no proof here that there is a child sex ring being operated out of a DC pizza parlor. Investigators have already proven there's nothing to the story, right? Well, actually, no. And that's what you need to know. For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this, not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question, not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place? That's Reality Check.
Why not, guys? Why aren't they looking into this? And why did the New York Times and everybody else just say the story's been debunked? Because it doesn't appear to be debunked, does it? Again, there's no proof. But, I mean, I would call those symbols proof that they are using symbols known to be pedophile symbols. I would say that's proof. They are using the symbols. And the Podesta emails do reference the pizza and hot dogs in a very strange way where they're clearly not talking about food. There's a lot worse stuff in the Podesta emails as well. All right. Let's go over to Red Pill Drifter here and let's learn a little more about James Alefantis and Comet Pizza.
Alefantis' previous Instagram profile picture is of Antinius, a Greek emperor whose influence reemerged in the early 2000s, forming a modern cult that attracted a subculture of LGBT polytheists who worshipped Antinius as a deity. Historian and author Lambert Royston writes, the sculptures of Antinius remain one of the most elevated and ideal monuments to pederastic love of the whole ancient world. Dictionary.com defines pederasty as, quote, sexual relations between two males, especially when one of them is a minor. Whether or not these are good reasons to become suspicious is up to you. Either way, it's for those reasons, and because James Alefantis has no children. Some question why he had so many kids on his Instagram. According to James, he took all the images of kids and infants from other Facebook pages, and from family and friends whom he says haven't come forward for fear of retribution. Now, I'm simply going to show you some of those images and give context when necessary. I'm not, however, going to apply sinister interpretations to hashtags, which might seem out of place. If your damning case against
chicken lovers, another term known in the pedophile world,
James Alefantis includes references to the Urban Dictionary and arguments for why he might be using them, you failed. If there really is something here, it should reveal itself without argument. Alefantis said that this is his goddaughter, with her arms taped to a table. Here's a baby in an art gallery, another baby. Now, some of these are obviously the same newborn, it appears. But this is a baby doll, and in this image, there's two babies.
Did you see the one that showed the baby doll? Look at German baby, $1,200. Please do not touch.
But this is a baby doll, and in this image, there's two babies. I had to censor this because it shows a flat-chested female whose age is ambiguous. Notice that it's liked by Panda Head Morgan, a name found in dozens of James' posts, who is very important, and we'll get to later. Here's an image of Alefantis' friend Scott Cummings holding a toddler with the hashtag chicken lover. Here James commented murder. Another user working on my night cheese, who I'll refer to as WC, commented kill room. WC owned a workshop.
So this is when it starts to get seriously insidious, because some of, I believe these were in the Podesta emails, where they talked about how they have leftovers and the leftovers are not in good condition. So they will have to make sure they like dispose of their leftovers when they're done, that sort of thing. And this goes back to the whole Sounds of Freedom thing, that whole Sounds of Freedom movie with Jim Caviezel and that FBI, that former, he was FBI, I believe, that former agent. And him talking about some of the things that he saw, and torture and murder, and people that get off on torturing and murdering children. And this is where all this stuff starts to get very dark. Like, I mean, if it wasn't dark enough already, and then you go into the whole satanic shit and spirit cooking, and all this stuff is just insidious. And again, if powerful people had this type of information over you, would you want this information getting out? Would they be able to use that information to get you to make certain decisions, maybe vote in a certain way on certain things? And everybody talks about if there was this global pedophile ring or this like global conspiracy, there would be people talking that they would come out eventually. Not if every single individual is blackmailed about personal info that is so dark and insidious they would never speak about it. And it makes you wonder how many people are controlled because they have very dark and insidious things. And this all took place in DC. How did this pizza parlor guy get so rich and so influential?
In the industrial complex pictured here, called the Pajama Factory, where he, similar to Mr. Cummings, also built coffins, many of which were child size. WC can be found commenting here to another Instagram user, J. Blair Smith, who uploaded this image commenting, "My favorite pedo." J. Blair Smith uploaded this drawing of a woman being hanged and what appears to be a baby statue that's been burnt. This is Miss Summercamp's Instagram. James Elephantis commented, "Sex." Miss Summercamp also posted this picture of a little girl holding a watermelon at the end of a tagline saying priceless. He said, quote, "Priceless isn't the word most people use upon tasting me." A user below named Barrett C responded. He posted on his Instagram a picture of a baby changing station with the C etched out saying, "Let's hang a baby." He also posted an apparent text message saying, "I put my baby in a slow cooker. It's been burning all day." And in this image uploaded by Barrett, one of the commenters is Pizza Fucking Party, who I'll refer to as PFP. PFP uploaded this image of a group of young children picking up either fake or real condoms, fake gold coins, and according to PFP's comment, little vials of alcohol. He also uploaded a bull-like meme on a pentagram, a pizza cut into a pentagram, and this photo of him or someone else in front of a van with a logo that says Baby Doll Pizza.
Now this steers into our whole conversation about evil and pure evil earlier, or that I'll talk about in a little bit. But if you would think that somebody that had sexual preferences towards minors, that would be their super deep, dark secret, and they wouldn't want anybody to know. I mean, if you were fucking into like super weird kink that with consenting adults, super weird kink, most people wouldn't want that information getting out. This is a whole different level, and they seem to have groups and chats, and it steers into the whole Satanism thing. This stuff is it makes you, I don't want to sound freaking bonkers, but it makes you think, are these like possessed demon type people? I know that sounds crazy to say, but this is like demonic shit. This is a whole you're talking about, I don't need to explain what we're talking about here. They're talking about doing the worst possible, like things I don't even want to say, the worst possible crimes to the innocent, the most innocent people on earth, children. And they have groups and secret coded language and meetup places and parties. And they are like laughing about it and making jokes about it. When you're, I can't, like, this is why this rabbit hole is just so impossible to go down, because it like hurts your soul. that there's people out there capable of this kind of twisted shit, and there might be way more of them than we think. And many of them may be running our country.
As it turns out, the logo is from an actual restaurant named Baby Doll Pizza in Portland, Oregon, the same city where a man named Michael Whalen used to live, who alleges to be a witness to illegal activity there, claiming the owners of Voodoo Donuts are trafficking children.
As to why Voodoo Donuts and why Portland, Oregon, it's because my question is, why are they abusing kids? Then I see kids being brought into the back. Then I'm asking, who are these kids? Who are their parents? And that immediately drew attention.
You see that symbol on the donuts there?
Onto me. So when I'm asking why there are adult males and females taking children into the back, when you're confronted with these type of people, other survivors will know what I mean when I say that they flaunt this. They are proud of this. They feel protected in this, and they feel untouchable in this.
Exotic delights of Voodoo Donut.
Okay.
That's Anthony Bourdain on the right, it looks like. I might be tripping.
Now that we've outlined the context.
No, that's not Anthony Bourdain. I don't mean to slander. My bad. It just looks like him.
Here's what I found.
I don't think. I hope not. Jeez. All right. We're going to continue. We're going to go over to a little thread here. I'm sorry, guys. I know this stuff is dark. This stuff is dark as hell. Yeah, I think I have something going on the Rumble chat. I've never seen the Rumble chat this quiet before. It must be because I set up the stream yesterday. All right, let's keep going here. So this is a thread from Red Pill Drifter, and he's talking about George Soros's relation to Comet Pizza. And he says, George Soros and Comet Pizza. George Soros is listed as a major donor to the American Bridge 21st Century PAC. This PAC is on the record with the FEC as having made several donations to Comet Ping Pong. Why would a PAC make donations to a pizza parlor involved in Pizzagate? So, and this isn't George Soros donating directly to them, but George Soros is listed as a major donor to the American Bridge 21st Century PAC. And that PAC donated to Comet Ping Pong Pizza. Why? It's a pizza parlor. Why is a political action committee donating to a pizza parlor? And he shares some images here. This is the one where it says German baby, $1,200. It's a doll. It says German baby, $1,200. Please do not touch. Same of the images we just saw. It says George Soros is a major donor. And here's his evidence. American Bridge PAC is largely funded by Democrat donors and labor unions. Billionaire hedge fund manager George Soros was the group's largest donor for the 2012 and 2014 cycles, contributing $1 million in 2012 and over $1 million in 2014. In 2012, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees donated $575,000. American Bridge was one of the several progressive political action groups to coordinate fundraising efforts in 2012. And he says 11,600 donation to Comet Ping Pong. And he's got the form right here. Schedule B. PAC form. Yeah. So you guys can go to this. This is Red Pill Drifter here. And these appear to be actual documents from the FCC or FEC, sorry. And then it says another $5,500 donation to Comet Ping Pong. $4,700 to Comet Ping Pong. American Bridge 21st Century is a Democrat organization with George Soros as a major donor. American Bridge 21st Century, or AB PAC, is a liberal American super PAC that supports Democrat candidates and opposes Republican candidates. It was founded by David Brooke in 2010 and is associated with Media Matters. Second time they've come up, huh? Associated with Media Matters for America. It is an opposition research hub for the Democratic Party. The group physically tracks and monitors Republican candidates and officials and uses social media to deploy its findings. Continues. David Brock funded American Bridge 21st and is the chief of media matters. Jeff Elefantis and David Brock in a love triangle? ? These people are weird, he says. And then in quotes, he says, okay, this is from Fox News. In quotes, he says, Brock's bitter legal battle with Gray, who is described in a September 14, 2010 police report obtained by Fox News, is his domestic partner of more than 10 years, began after Brock began dating Washington, D.C. restaurant impresario James Alefantis about 5 years ago. The next 3 years, Brock and Gray traded angry accusations, which were documented in a police report and were the foundation of a pitched legal battle replete with charges of blackmail, theft, and financial malfeasance. Okay, so it looks like they had a falling out. According to the FEC, Clinton's made several payments to James Alefantis from the Clinton campaign and pro-Clinton PACs. Okay. James Alefantis, the owner of Comet Ping Pong. And these political action committees are also donating to Comet Ping Pong. If he's... What are they buying, you guys? These PACs, these donations in very specific amounts. What are they buying with these donations? What are they getting in return? Okay, here's a letter James Alefantis posted on Instagram from Hillary thanking him for helping with a fundraiser that involves the Podestas. Okay, so he's friends with the Podestas, friends with the Clintons. Why is a pizza restaurant owner registered as the 49th most powerful person in DC? Can anyone say CIA, child trafficking ring, blackmail network? I don't know about CIA, but why? Why is this owner of a freaking pizza parlor listed as the 49th most powerful person in DC? In DC. Like, look at all the people in DC, the powerful people in DC. This guy's the 49th most powerful. And why is he getting tons of money from political action committees that are heavily that are involved with George Soros and the Clintons? This shit is insane. This whole Pizzagate thing doesn't seem so debunked, you guys. So let's listen to this dude talking about James Alefantis. This guy knows him. So we'll keep going here.
Okay, guys, it's December 17th. It's 1 something in the afternoon here, and I'm with JB. JB's talking to us about who?
James Alefantis.
James Alefantis. Now JB went to St. Albans.
Went to St. Albans.
From DC, and he's got a story to tell. So let's hear it.
Restaurant for Carol Greenwood.
Yep.
Remember the day James Alefantis walked in the door and asked for a job.
Mm-hmm.
Carol's son, 11 years old at the time, a friend of mine caught James butt fucking this boy in the kitchen, and that person, his name's Dylan Greenwood, has since committed suicide. I think it was 2 years ago.
And this is just hearsay. This guy's just telling a story. Could be completely making it up, but they went to school together, and this is what he's saying about him, that he got caught in the kitchen doing that.
James is one of the dastardly worst person in the world.
And he's pretty drunk, it seems.
And yeah, they do bad things at Comet. There are underground rooms, all that stuff.
And you've seen that with.
So he's saying there is a basement, not necessarily a basement, but there's underground rooms.
Your own eyes.
I've seen that with my own eyes.
So you've been below the floor of Comet.
It used to be the tie room.
The tie room before Comet.
Yes.
Yeah. Right by the zoo.
It's a little farther down from the zoo. It's more in
not that far. I mean,
it's Nebraska.
It's on Connecticut Avenue.
Nebraska and Connecticut.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a fact. James Alefantis is a bad person to this day.
And you met him when he was applying for a job or something?
He was trying to get the manager job with Carol at that restaurant.
How did you get so much money? That guy
probably selling kids and trying.
So I mean, the question is, why has Comet Pizza never been raided by the FBI? I mean, there's all this evidence that, I mean, you could get a warrant from a judge. You could present a judge all this information and be like, we think it seems that they could be involved, and we want to see if they have a basement. We want to see if they have these underground rooms. This is what we got. We got the political action committee donations. We've got all the Instagram posts, all the social media posts, all the references to pedophile code words, pedophile symbolism on their signs, the bands that performed there, the weird, creepy stuff on their walls, things that they're saying, money that's exchanging hands. A judge would sign off on a warrant. Why hasn't the FBI raided Comet Pizza? Why haven't any law enforcement organizations looked into this at all in DC? Why?
And you've been below Comet Pizza and you see what it looks like.
I've seen rooms and I've seen tunnels that go other places, including underground to the other buildings. I think one was owned.
Oh, now he's saying there's tunnels, adjoined tunnels. Interesting. Hear a lot about tunnels lately, don't we?
By like a Clinton Foundation or something across the street.
Yeah.
But the tunnels go all over there.
They say they go over the White House, but I don't know.
I don't know if they go all the way to the White House, but that area in and of itself, if they go a mile in that area in any direction, they're hitting some spots.
Okay, man. Thanks for the information.
Yep.
It's nice to see you.
That's what we can do. Hope you can post it.
I will.
Creepy shit, you guys. All right, so let's just look at some weird ads. Like this is over on Etsy. This is a $3,000 pizza. So cheese pizza for $3,000. Cheese pizza picture, instant download. So why is somebody selling a pizza for $3,000 on Etsy? We go back over to Liz Crokin here, and this is some items sold online at Walmart. Weird stuff. Why are these items so expensive on this ad at Walmart? Let's check this. Oh, 10 grand for an electric web launcher. 10 grand. Seems expensive for that Spider-Man toy. Again, 10 grand for an RC car. A very small one. Doesn't look like a very high-end RC car at all. 10 grand. 10 grand for 2-piece set RC car, rear-wheel drive, seat, blah, blah, blah. 10 grand. RC remote control airplane for beginners. This isn't, I mean, some RC remote control airplanes would be 10 grand, but no, this is a little one that's sold at Walmart. Why 10 grand? Voice changer, 10 grand. iPretty sausage century toys, eco-friendly, 10 grand. And when I first started looking into this stuff back in like, geez, this is like 2014, 2015. I went online. I was like, there's no way. There's no way that you can find. And yes, you find items that are way too expensive being sold on the internet. This stuff's still happening as well. Like this Etsy one, that little apostate posted here. This was recent. This was, I don't see a date on here, but I mean, this was not long ago. It's this here. Yeah, this Etsy pizza, like selling it for $3 grand. And you guys can see this shit. And they'll sell like really innocuous, weird things for super high prices. So you guys remember Anne Hesh, the actress Anne Hesh? She was reportedly about to release a documentary on human trafficking. And the lead singer of Linkin Park, people speculate that he might have been the son of John Podesta. And we know what happened to him, and Anthony Bourdain, and Paul Walker, and the who was the lead singer of Linkin Park? Who was his best friend again? Died on the same, committed suicide on the same day. Well, here's Anne Hesh, and she was about to release a documentary. And remember, she got in a crazy car accident. Well, this footage was going all over the place, and there's no community notes next to any of these videos. And this appears to be real footage of Anne Hesh being wheeled out in a body bag. But watch what happens towards the end of the video.
And this is the first time we're going to see this this victim. It doesn't look that good, but yeah, it does look terrible. And we'll just see if maybe they're just moving him out of there, or if they put him in an ambulance. That's some sort of sign, but yes. So basically the activity that we were looking for, that that anxious or that quick moving, that was going on the other side of the vehicle. Oh my gosh, he's completely alive.
What the hell?
So, I mean, maybe it's fake footage, but that video was going all over the place. Many different people were sharing it. No community notes. And Hesh was later pronounced dead, and they had her in a body bag, and she pops out of it. So, kind of interesting. Kind of interesting, folks. Man, I wanted to get through all of this. I don't know if I have time. I'm already way over. Screw it. Maybe I'll just go super long. Yeah, screw it. Some of you guys are still here. If you guys are still here, let me know. Let me know in the chat. I don't think the Rumble chat's working, so if you guys are still watching, let me know you're hanging out. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get through this last block because it's kind of part of all of this. So I'm going to go over to this is something I clipped from the Joe Rogan podcast with Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I want to play these last few videos. I'm already way over, but this might be the longest stream I've ever done, but I want to get through all of this. I want it to be out there. So let's keep going here. This is Tucker Carlson talking to Joe Rogan about evil and about weak people and how they are the most susceptible to evil. So it's only a quick clip. It's only like a minute and 40 seconds.
Evil is an independent force that exists outside of people, that acts upon people. I really believe that. I've experienced it. A lot. And it's obvious. And what vessel do they choose? The weak. It's weak men and women who are instruments of evil. The weaker the leader, the more evil that leader will be. So and unfortunately, we've reached a time in American history where every leader is either a woman or a weak man, pretty much. And so I'm sorry to say it, that's just true. And the weaker the leader, that's why Mike Johnson, everyone's like, oh, Mike Johnson's such a nice guy. Well, I know Mike Johnson, and he's a perfectly nice guy to the extent that he's like polite and seems kind of meek and restrained, and he's not saying motherfucker ever,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's got like very sort of buttoned down affect. But he's a weak man, and that's the man you should be afraid of. The people who you shouldn't.
And remember, Mike Johnson, before he became speaker, was talking about this FISA crap, about warrantless spying on Americans. He was super outspoken about it, super outspoken against the war, funding of the war in Ukraine, and he's flipped on everything. Everything that he said, he's gone back on. What do they have on Mike Johnson? DC, everything we just went through. I'm not saying Mike Johnson is a pedo, but Tucker explains in this, you guys got to listen to this Tucker and Joe Rogan podcast. He explains this like everyone's got something to hide. And we know how this blackmail stuff works.
Be less afraid of are the, headstrong, loud, don't care what anybody thinks. Yeah, those guys will go off track, but they're probably not going to abet, genocide or blow up the world in a nuclear exchange, because they may be obnoxious, but they know who they are. Weak people just become a host for evil, an open empty building that evil occupies, possesses even. And that's exactly what's happening to Mike Johnson. It's like absolutely crazy what Mike Johnson is doing. But it's not because he's evil. It's because he's weak and therefore susceptible to evil.
Okay. And I would say that, anybody that's taking part in any of the Pizzagate type crap is evil. They are pure evil, but stop it. But there's people that might just have skeletons in their closet that are just weak people, and they will roll over with, bribery and blackmail. And then they'll do whoever's bidding. Let's go to another clip where Tucker's talking about how politicians are terrified of the intelligence agencies. And he doesn't specify which ones, but I think it's becoming very clear to everybody who really runs this country. And it's not, our congressmen and our senators and the president do the actual voting, but who is in the ear of all these people that are voting against American interests, that are clearly not America first, and vote in direct opposition to the well-being of Americans all the time, and then flip-flop on what they said that they stand for? Listen to Tucker explain.
People don't say that because they're worried about getting punished. They're worried about someone putting kiddie porn on their computer.
Right.
Members of Congress are terrified of the intel agencies. I'm not guessing at that. They've told me that, including people on the intel committee, including people who run the intel committee, the people whose job it is to oversee and keep in line these enormous secretive agencies whose budgets we can't even know. They're black budgets. They're the parents. The agencies are the children. They're afraid of the agencies. That's not compatible with democracy. Democracy is a really simple system, even representative democracy like ours. The people rule. They do so through elections. They express their preference through voting. They send their people to the capital city to run the government on their behalf. Whenever you have unelected people who are not accountable to anyone making the biggest decisions, you don't have a democracy. You have something else, another system. I would call it a tyranny or whatever you want to call it. It's not a democracy. So that's like super obvious. It's playing out in front of everyone and no one cares and no one does anything about it. And I think the reason is because they're threatened. And if you look at the committee chairmen who allow this shit to happen year after year, they're all, and I don't know, people say, oh, they're compromised or being blackmailed or whatever. I don't have evidence of that, but I know them and they all have things to hide. I know that for a fact. And so it's not a stretch of imagination to imagine that, some committee chairman who's allowing warrantless spying on Americans to continue or whatever abuse they're allowing, knowing fully or hiding the truth about UAPs, ignoring the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023. Like, why are they doing that? It's not impossible to imagine that some guy with a drinking problem or a weird sex life, and that's very common up there. That's why they're doing it. Because they don't want to be exposed. I don't have evidence of that. I don't have proof of that.
Right.
But that's not a crazy thing to assume that could be happening. And I said to somebody, a very powerful person, the other day in a conversation in my kitchen, an elected official holds a really senior position, a very famous person. I was going crazy. I was so mad about all this stuff.
I'm going crazy trying to guess who that person is.
And about the warrantless spying and about the funding for these insane wars. And I said to the guy who serves in one of the legislative bodies, I got so mad my dogs were afraid. They're like, well, why are you yelling? Because I don't yell at home. But I was like, all these people are controlled. They're all, got weird sex lives and all these things are hiding and they're being blackmailed by the intel agencies. And he said, and I'm quoting, I know. It was like, okay, so at this point we're just sort of admitting that's real. Like, why do we allow that to continue?
Keep going. We're almost through all of it. So let's check out Mike Gallagher. That's a whole other freaking neocon. But this is Dale Stark, and he says, I'm old enough to remember that I'm old enough to notice that every Republican who gains a modicum of power immediately adopts neocon / America Last foreign policy positions, regardless of what they ran on. I'm curious. And this is Mike Johnson completely flip-flopping on his stance towards the Ukraine funding.
We know what the timetable is. We know the urgency in Ukraine and in Israel. And we're going to stand by Israel, our close ally and dear friend, and we're going to stand for freedom and make sure that Vladimir Putin doesn't march through Europe. These are important responsibilities. A strong America is good for the entire world. Since World War II, really, the responsibility for the free world has been shifted onto our shoulders, and we accept that role. We're an exceptional nation. We're the greatest nation on the planet.
How does printing trillions of dollars and giving it to Ukraine make America strong or keep America strong? It doesn't. This is in direct opposition to the well-being of America and American citizens.
And we have to act like it. And we have to project to Putin and Xi and Iran and North Korea and anybody else that we will defend freedom. It doesn't mean boots on the ground. We're not the world's policemen, but we're going to do the right thing. And I think the Congress is going to take an important stand here.
So some of we
know what the timetable is.
What do they have on Mike Johnson? What do they have on him? Well, we know how everybody voted. And yeah, well, it goes to the Senate tomorrow, or is it on Monday? Just in, Congress members wave Ukraine flags in the United States House after they approve another $61 billion in military aid for Ukraine. The bill also gave $26 billion to Israel and another $8 billion for allies in the Indo-Pacific region, bringing the grand total to $95 billion in foreign aid funding. Nearly $100 billion in funding for foreign aid for foreign countries, and not a dollar for a U.S. border wall. Congratulations to the American taxpayer. Your hard-earned money is getting fast-tracked overseas. This is just a bunch of congressmen waving Ukraine flags. Now, I don't necessarily think that these people are evil, or even that they are actively working against the American people. They might actually think that this is a good thing, and we got to stand with Ukraine against the Russian invasion. And a lot of congressmen may not even be aware of what happened in Ukraine in 2014. I don't understand how you could not be aware of that, but there's really dumb people in Congress that are elected that don't know stuff, that they're not in that position because they're smart or they know stuff. They seem to be in that position, like Tucker said, because they're weak. And weak people are susceptible to bribery. Weak people are susceptible to blackmail. And every action that our government takes seems to be in direct opposition to the well-being of American citizens and the stability of our country. It doesn't make any sense unless you're looking at it through the lens of blackmail and bribery. It's one nation under blackmail, just like Whitney Webb says. It's the only explanation to everything that's happening right now. And yeah, I don't know what any other explanation could be. So you guys were awfully quiet over there on Rumble tonight. I apologize I didn't do my stream last night. The RGS, nice to see you. So I guess the Rumble chat is working. I don't know. Maybe it just started working. It's yeah, I don't know. All right, folks, that is all I got tonight. This might have been my longest stream that I've ever done, 2.5 hours. I can do longer than this. I feel like I should be doing longer streams to really get into the nitty gritty of some stuff. I might be doing that in the future. Who knows where this thing's going to go, but that is all I got for the evening. Not a lot of you guys here tonight, but maybe people will watch. Yeah, I might have lost you guys, some of you guys, because I didn't stream last night. Skook821, nice to see. Agree? Well, yeah, there's nothing our government does seems to be in the well-being of the American people, except for the first thing I started off reading tonight, the Pentagon trying to stop World War III, it appears, according to Seymour Hersh and his sources. which he won't name, but I actually trust Seymour Hersh because he's reported some very good stuff. All right, that is all I got for the evening. I will not be back here tomorrow night, my friends. I will be back on Monday night. Tomorrow, I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm going shooting in the morning, I think. I need to shoot. I haven't shot in a while. So I'm going to go to the range, and I might do a real light trail run after that. We'll see. I'm not sure. All right, folks. Skook 821, the RGS, Danger, B-Sizzo. What else we got? Free Honk Honk, Non-Mundane, Wally World, all you guys. Nice to see you. Redheaded Rebel. All right, there's a few of you guys tonight. All right, folks, that is all I got for the evening. But before we get out of here, you know how we do it. We've got to read a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. Let's see. What do we have tonight? What do we have tonight? That one has a picture with it, so I can't do that one. Okay. All right. I haven't proofread this one. I read 2 jokes ahead of this and I didn't like them. So I'm just going with the one other joke that's on this page. And we'll hope for the best. We'll hope it's good. All right, folks, here we go. Chuck Norris joke of the evening. Despite his doctor and family's strong objections, Chuck Norris began drinking gasoline each morning. Much to everyone's surprise, he gets 94 miles per gallon. And on that note, stay CaliBased.